Bella Salon and Day Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Randy Burt, and I'm sitting in for Doc today. Doc's on one of his trips. I don't know where. I think he's like Europe. Somewhere I heard he was on a boat, so he's floating down the river. About a week or last week, Doc went one way, Jeff went south, and we went to Washington, D.C., and Emerald, she got a job. So what a week for the crew. So just want to welcome you to Chautauqua Sunrise. And if you're in Jamestown at 1 o'clock on Tuesday, I'd like to welcome WRFA. This is your way to hear the show in Jamestown. So before we start the show, I want to let you know today, Mayville's crazy today. There's a Celtic Festival, the Grand Fondo, I think the floating stage. Everybody's going home. We're going to miss the people, the tourists, the people from Chautauqua. But if you're riding anywhere around Chautauqua Lake today, in the Westfield, be on the lookout for bicycles. My friend Mark Wilson says there's way over 300 people in this ride today, and they'll be going different routes. And they have people from 9 to 10 states plus Canada in this ride. It's their 5th annual. If you've never seen this, it's just interesting to be driving along Route 394 or Route 430 and just seeing bicycles everywhere. So be really on the watch out today, Saturday. It's going to be busy out there. I just retired a few months ago. It's like terrible. It's like it's a communist plan to take over the world or government plan to take over the world. I don't know. It was a mistake, but I'm retired, so I got lots of time now. Christopher, my son, took us to Washington, D.C. last weekend. Congressman Reed's office gave us a private tour of the Capitol. George, I think was the kid's name. The picture here is showing George. He's taking pictures of the 2 other girls that were on our tour, and they're both from Faulkner. And it was like a 2-hour trip through the Capitol. We got to go in places most people don't get to go. Underground, how would you say it? There's there's underground places there that they don't go. And we were set to go to Washington, or we wanted to go to the White House, but President Trump was out. And here's another picture of the Capitol. It was beautiful in Washington, but very hot. But later on that, I think it was Sunday, President Trump come back, and we were right there as the helicopters are flying in and letting them out. And of course, I'm taking pictures, but they blocked the driveway with big, like a fire vehicle, so you can't really look up the road and see them flying in. They fly in, they take a car to the White House, and it's, I don't think it's a life I'd want, because there was guards everywhere. There was a statue in the park that had a guard with a gun on it, so it's not the kind of life I would really like. But we had a good tour, and I want to thank Congressman Reed and his crew for giving us the tour. Checked out the Smithsonian's, and we're all over. They have the best metro system in the world with subways and buses. So I think we need some of them in Chautauqua County. So I have one announcement today. 16th Annual Local Music Showcase. Calling all local musicians. I get messed up on that word. Registration's now open for Infinity's 16th Annual Local Music Showcase. Infinity Visual and Performing Arts is seeking volunteers for the 16th Annual Local Music Showcase on Saturday, September 7th. That's only a week or so away, so currently Infinity needs adult volunteers to work at participating, venue doors and check wristbands during the event. All volunteers receive a free all-access wristband for local music showcase in exchange for their time. If you'd like to help with this year's event, please contact Stephanie Rogers via email at lms@infinityperformingarts.org. And just one announcement for you. So we're going to take a quick public service announcement after I show some pictures Doc sent to me, which I haven't even seen yet. And I bet you can't tell where this is. Who has the windmills overseas? Holland. So Doc's been to Holland. Where else has Doc been? I don't know. Looks like a big cathedral. Maybe art museum. Oh, that guy I know. This must be the Rhine River behind him that he's out cruising today. Smile, Doc. Oh, geez. It looks like a gangster here. I'm not sure where it is. But, man.
Looks fancy.
He looks fancy, but he looks like a gangster. Oh, this is awesome. I know he talked about this trip for quite a while, so I'm going to not say too much. I'm going to let him talk about it when he comes back next week. And here we are, nighttime. Oh, I saw this morning. This woke me up. Doc sent me a message like 5:30 in the morning. I'm sleeping, telling me to get up and do the show and fix my hair. And he sent me a swan. I tried to send him a response. It came out. When you talk into one of these cell phones, it does not type what you say. So the response was absolutely insane. If you want to call into the show today and talk to the guest, here's our address, chautauquasunrise@gmail. 753-5225 is our phone number. Social media, twitter.com, Chautauqua Sunrise, or CHQ Sunrise, facebook.com, Chautauqua Sunrise. What happened to the days before social media? So right now we're just going to take a break, and then we're getting right into the show because I have a very special guest today.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
I wouldn't mind being out in the forest right now, except for the bugs are pretty bad this time of year. Okay, I got two guests. One was here July 13th. He brought somebody with him. Since then, he has became the all-American kid. So I'm going to introduce my two guests. I'm going to first introduce his mother, Michelle Swabik. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now,
Thanks for having us.
Oh, I'm glad to have you. It's pretty cool. We've been talking before the show of, it's called the Decathlon, and it was held in Sacramento, California. So I'm going to get back to that in a minute. So, Michelle, what do you do now? You're from?
We're from Sherman, New York.
Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
That's that way.
Yep, about 9 miles.
And you found this guy on the way?
Yeah, I picked him up on the way.
This is John Swabik. John, congratulations.
Thank you.
John took second place.
Yes, I did.
So, since I'm not too knowledgeable of decathlon, let's just figure out how this starts. You don't just do this in gym class, correct? There's a little more to like a 45-minute gym class.
Yeah, it's like 10 different events. It's like almost, I'd say like every event in track pretty much covers throwing, jumping, running, distance, all that.
How long have you done this?
This was actually my second time doing it, but I've done like all of the events, but just not together.
Mostly in school?
Just for my local track team, yeah.
So, I know most kids, we were talking last night, we were organizing a reunion, how we hated gym. Some people actually like gym class, and then they go for more, so you don't do it in 45 minutes all day, you have to stay after school and...
Well, yeah, we go to practice, track practice.
Got a lot of kids on your team?
There's a good amount, I would say.
And your coaches?
We got like 6 coaches, maybe.
6 coaches?
Yeah.
So each one does a different event?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So that's the CSP Wolfpack, Climber Sherman Panama track team.
Oh, so we're all merging again.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's his regular track season.
Okay.
And Coach Pam Warner's the head coach, and then she has assistant coaches for specializing in different events. And he was in 9th grade, and he was a distance runner, 7th and 8th grade. And then his coach at the time was Coach Irv King, and he was the head coach, and he was the distance coach. And he said, oh, let's try you out in the pentathlon, which is 5 events. Because New York State, you can't do javelin. It's illegal to do javelin. So you can't do the decathlon in New York State.
Really?
Yeah, so New York State does the pentathlon. So that's only 5 events, and that's the, you want to tell what that is? What's your events?
The pentathlon?
Yeah.
We got the 110 hurdles, the long jump, high jump, shot put, and the 1500.
So the high jump is with the pole vaulting?
No,
Or
the high
just
jump.
jumping over the...
Yeah, the high jump is just
okay.
running up and jumping.
So that's your pentathlon. So in 9th grade, he started to do different events, the 110 hurdles at a dual meet, and then he'd do the high jump, and he started either, winning, taking first, or, getting, second. His teammate, Cameron Barmore, is a pretty good high jumper, so he would take second to him. And so his coach was like, maybe we should, because he was just going to train him for that year. He said, maybe we should get you into some pent meets, because your times and your jumping's, pretty good.
Uh-huh.
So he ended up going all the way to states for his first year in as a freshman, and getting second in D2 and 6th overall in the federation. So he brought home medals his 9th grade year. And then you want to go from there?
Well, so after that, I was kind of like starting to think past high school into college, and I knew that track was like probably my best sport, and that was it's my biggest chance of like, you know, doing something big. So in college, track and field, they do not have the pentathlon. They have the decathlon, which is 5 more events. So I decided I'd start learning the other events so I could do decathlon, and then.
So then he went to states again for the pen
Jeez.
and ended up winning it in his 10th grade year. So he came home as a state champ and second in the federation. And so that's big schools and little schools. And then he came home Saturday, June 8th, I think it was. And Monday, June 10th, he started practice for the decathlon. And then that's when he went to nationals. And then,
Jeez.
yeah. Yep.
So you guys, it's been a few years, but we filmed basketball at Sherman, and they're a whole different team. I mean, they're good. I noticed, like, when we'd be filming basketball, all they do is throw the ball to each other. Nobody'd shoot. They just keep throwing it, and then they'd lose it. Sherman, whoever got it, just boom, 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 and they went. And
They got a good coach.
They do, because it was even both the boys and the girls, and it was like, I was amazed because we'd been to several schools, you know, and they just, as they say, they just throw it, and then they lose it. And Sherman, they just, as soon as you got it, and away you went. So much better. I mean, it's, who wants to watch somebody just throwing it back and forth all day? But so yeah, I'm lost. So school was pretty good for you. Now you're going to go to Sacramento, California. Now, how do you start by going there? It costs a lot of money. The weather's different. And I know you got to fly. So let's start with the money. How did you raise the money? Because it's not cheap. You were out there a week.
Yeah.
So how did you go about raising money? Did you sell, like, Girl Scout cookies?
Well, my cousin from Florida set up a GoFundMe kind of thing, like a Facebook fundraiser, and just slowly by slowly, the community and like surrounding communities, everyone just kind of chipped in, and I think we raised like $2,000, maybe even more.
It was more.
Okay, I don't know. People were just kind of coming up to my dad or my mom and giving them money. And
That must feel pretty good.
yeah.
People are donating for you. Yeah. So
It was pretty amazing.
oh, you
it
got
was-
a good community. I've been there before when the mayor was collecting money to get people to Roswell during one of the Sherman days. and
Yeah.
it's-
Shave the mayor day.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Senator Young still can't get over. She had to use a regular razor on his head at the end, and she was so worried she was going to cut him. But yeah, they came together really good that day. And
Yeah, we have a very, very supportive community. And like I said, it's not just Sherman community. I mean, there was the track community, there was our church community, there was our, the CSP, Climber Sherman Panama community, so it just, it branched way out. I mean, and he doesn't have a pole vault either, because that's not, something
Yeah.
he does. So, so we had, do you remember the schools?
Randolph, Maple Grove, Silver Creek, Penn State Behrend.
Yeah, so all of these people pitched in, and we were able to, borrow poles from these schools, because you have to have a certain weight, it has to be your certain weight and then a height of the pole. So, it becomes pretty, what's the word? Just pretty, it's fine tuned to him. You can't just pick any pole. And
So is it pretty neat pole vault? I mean, we have Jen Sure,
Yeah.
and you getting right up with her now, huh?
not yet.
She's
Not
pretty
yet,
good.
but hey, she's been doing it quite a while, I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, pole vault's a really cool feeling when the pole just like unbends and it shoots you.
that's got to be. It just seems like that pole would break on you. It's like you watch it.
Yeah, well, as long as you don't think about that while you're
Yeah.
pole vaulting, then you're fine.
So you're going up feet first, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You got to get them feet over, and the rest of you.
Yeah.
What happens if you hit the pole? Is it gonna hurt?
I don't know. I haven't done
You
that.
haven't hit the pole yet. Oh, okay. So pole vaulting was one. You did. We're gonna try to get all your events. Pole vaulting. Let's go with the running, because you started out with running. How many of the events are running?
4.
4 of them. How far?
There is a 100, 110 hurdles, 400, and 1500.
Ooh, 1,500 a whole track
It's like
or more.
3 3/4 of a lap. So
Okay.
it's 100 meters less than a full mile.
Okay.
So it's almost 4 times around the track.
Yeah.
I made it like 10 feet down the track, and I walked with the rest of them. Yeah, running was, when you're fat, running's not the greatest, but, so you did 4 events in running, and now you're throwing a discus? Is that what it was?
I don't even know the list of events, honestly, but yeah, discus is one of them.
Discus, javelin, shot put is his throwing.
So what's the difference between the 3?
Discus is like a little, like disc kind of thing, and you kind of throw that like
So where
this.
you spin around in a circle?
Yeah, you
and
spin in a
whip it?
circle
Oh,
and
okay.
throw it, and then shot put is like the big, almost like a cannonball. It's like a big steel ball, and you just kind of put it on your neck and
How far can you get that?
about 40 feet.
He PR'd in Sacramento. So, which PR'd is personal record or personal best.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, so he PR'd, and it was just shy of 40 feet.
And then the javelin, that's the one that's like a spear, and you kind of run up and then
Whip it.
chuck it like a spear.
Something like
Stick
back
it in
the
the
days
ground.
of Africa, chasing the animal.
Yep.
Okay. And is there any other events?
And then you're jumping
Yeah,
events.
then there's
Jumping.
jumping.
Now you run, you do like some giant something, and then you jump into the.
Yeah, for high jump, you kind of take some big steps and then run, turn, and then jump back first over the bar.
Okay.
And then pole vault, you run straight with this giant pole and then stick it like into, it's like a pit almost. It's probably like this deep. You stick it into that, and then the pole bends all up, and you go feet first over the bar.
That's got to be a feel.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so your school is really good. I mean, you work after, you got good coaches. Let's talk about the trip a little. You're gonna fly out to Sacramento on an airplane with 2 engines.
I don't know.
You don't know how many engines your plane had?
Mm-mm.
It was a big bus, like they call it a Airbus.
Airbus.
Yeah,
Jeez.
because of the poles, we couldn't do any small, it had to have cargo, because they're like 14, 15 feet long poles. So, yeah, we had
They
to
don't come
the,
apart either, do they?
no.
Jeez.
Mm-mm.
That's like, I like big planes. I'm sorry. The bigger the better.
Yeah. So we had to,
Yeah, this thing was huge.
his dad and him had built a carrying case for the poles,
Uh-huh.
which was like 6-inch PVC pipe, and then they put 2 caps on the end,
It was drainage.
drain it like a drainage
Drainage
pipe, and then they had like 2 handles, one on each end. So that was a sight to see.
How
in the
long are
airport.
these
It was 15 feet long.
15 feet long, jeez.
So that was a sight to see in the airport with the two of them carrying this big thing and everybody coming to us saying, what is that?
I can see the TSA now. What?
Yeah, what is that?
You got a bazooka?
Someone said, we were walking in the airport and someone said, no, that's a big potato gun.
Oh, they shoot potatoes out there in Idaho.
Yeah,
Not
it
a
was
pumpkin shooter, but
it was interesting trying to get up the escalators and
oh, geez.
and then we had to go in those like those trams, because we're in San Francisco. We're in some big airports and so yeah, that was a fun time.
So once we got to Sacramento, do they pick you up? Do you rent a car, or how do you get to where you're going to be at?
Yeah, we had to rent a car, and then
A specific one to
Yeah.
fit the poles.
Yeah.
we had
Semi.
we had like a little minivan, and we had to put a rack. Well, there was a rack on top,
Oh, okay.
so we just we brought some like ratchet straps, and strapped the pull vault case with the pull vault poles on top of it.
You didn't put it out the window?
No,
Slap
it wouldn't
cars as you
fit.
go by?
It wouldn't fit. Yeah, it wouldn't fit.
So now we're out at, it was a college?
Um,
Or did you stay at a motel,
Oh,
or
yeah.
did you stay right at the college?
no, we stayed at a hotel, but we competed at Sacramento State
Sacramento.
College.
Pretty big.
Yeah, it was pretty big.
You like it?
I think it's a little hot, but it
I
was
told you
alright.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
So, now you have a few days, right? You were there a week. Now, how many days before the events for your body to adjust to the different temperatures? And
Well, I believe I have 1 day, right?
Yeah, we were hoping to get in to San Francisco at like 8:30 p.m. on Saturday, and then he would compete on Monday. But our flight was delayed like 6 hours in
they're not
Pittsburgh.
delayed. That's just regular for
I
airlines.
know, that's
They
what
just
I'm
call it a
figuring that
delay.
out. I'm figuring that out.
Yeah, it's just, they're all delayed.
Yeah, they are. So it was 6 hours, and so we sat in Pittsburgh waiting to take off for it was like 7 hours that we waited. And so we didn't get in, and the time change, we didn't get in to San Francisco, like it would be our time at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. See, that's why I wonder when you go to a cross country to an event, you're jet lagged.
Right.
It's a little
so
jet
then,
lagged. and-
Right. So then we ended up we were supposed to drive all the way to Sacramento, which is like an hour and a half that day, like that night, and then just spend all Sunday. And it ended up being so late, we were picking our car up. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, our time it would be. So we were pretty tired, so we just got a hotel room in San Francisco, and then that morning, Sunday morning, traveled to Sacramento. So he had like a half of a day. That evening we went over to the university. You can tell about that.
Yeah, so what happens once you get there now?
The training. Like he went and trained. He went and trained
I don't even remember.
on Sunday. We went and checked it out. We didn't just sit at the hotel. We went and checked the place out, did a little bit of practice, nothing too heavy or anything, and then got right back to the hotel and just let him rest.
So the next day, Monday, was your first events.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to the college now. Do you get to say bye-bye to mom? Do they take you separately?
Well, see, once you get there and you check in, they immediately, I don't talk to my parents or my family the rest of the day because I have to be with them at all times. And, if I have to go to the bathroom or anything, they have to have an official walk me there. And, yeah, I actually got yelled at because I had a really bad headache during high jump. So I kind of went to the fence and I was like, Mom, can you get me some ibuprofen? And then they yelled at me for being like, so they had to send someone over there to get the ibuprofen from her and then bring it back over to me.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That there is a lot of cheating. And what did you hear of any cheating while you were there? Or was
I
it
didn't.
Pretty run pretty good. That's what it's really sad for athletes, you know. An athlete can do really good. They're gonna keep on them. Oh, you cheated, you took drugs or something.
Right.
But even though they don't, and it's just sad that it's that way, but
Yeah. You get to that level and, you know, it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
serious competition.
yeah, I mean Junior Olympics, yes.
Yeah, we learned really quick.
So you started out after that with your first event, correct? Or did you have like an opening ceremony?
The opening ceremony was actually in the middle of the week because the track meet goes on the whole week. So, but the multi-events are actually the first 2 days. So in order for like the opening ceremony to include everyone, they put it in the middle of the week. So the people who compete at the end of the week, they're not going to be there at the beginning of the week for the ceremony. And the people who compete at the beginning of the week, they're not going to be there at the
Is it
end.
pretty fun?
Yeah.
Is it like an Olympic parade? And
Yeah, we like got with our section of the United States and we
Do you remember
walked
what
out.
section you are?
1, 2, 2.
two?
Section 2. I think that includes like New Jersey and
Yeah, it's a
us.
pretty big region.
Yeah, it's a good size one. We walked out on the track and they announced us and all that.
Cool. So the fun's there. Parties every night? No, serious.
In his dreams.
They didn't have parties
He
every
was
night?
dreaming, yeah.
Sleeping?
By the time the 8 hours
Yeah, you're
of
drained.
him competing, he was spent. You know, his brother wanted him to, hey, let's go to the pool, and you know, he's like, okay, and then the next thing you know, he's laying down in bed and he's out.
Oh yeah, it's
So-
long, but so I lost my. What was I gonna say? I don't know.
So yeah, so the with that, after the 2 days, you know, then once he was able to get the silver, and really he came up 72 points shy of the gold.
Wow.
And when you talk about 6,000 points, because he got, do you remember your points?
6,029 maybe.
6,029 points. So 72 points out of thousands of points is really nothing. And we figured that that's, you know, his competition, the guy that got gold, he says it was his twin. They looked alike.
Really?
They competed with each other neck and neck throughout the whole thing. But the pole vault, his mom went to college for pole vaulting.
Okay.
And he has been pole vaulting for a while. So John jumped just over.
I jumped like almost 12 feet and he jumped like 13.
Something. So, but when you go to that span at those numbers, the points difference, it jumps. So he had gained quite a few points on him in that event.
I want to say he went up like 200
Yeah.
after that, and I was winning going into that.
Yeah.
Sounds fun, scary.
Mm-hmm.
So you make a lot of friends out there?
Actually, yeah, I did make a lot of friends, but probably won't see them
Yeah, I
anymore.
know, that's sad. Hey, you never know.
Except
Yeah.
on social media.
Yeah, you know. Maybe you'll compete again.
Probably.
Go back again this year, school year.
Next year it will be, we think we heard that it's in,
Jacksonville, Florida.
yeah,
Ooh.
Jacksonville,
It's
Florida.
a little closer.
Yeah, they jump from East Coast to West Coast each year.
Oh, really?
That way, it's not like
Everybody.
everyone has to travel every year.
Yeah. This rodeo I used to go to, they jump from a different area all the time. But so What else went on out there besides some of your Wait, let's go with, how high did you jump? 12 feet? With a pole
Just
vault?
under.
Yeah,
Just under?
close.
How far about jumping? You probably told me all this and I already probably forgot.
Did you say how far?
Yeah,
Like for long
So
jump?
long jump.
You know,
Oh, for that one, I think it was
586, 5 meters, 0.86. So
was it like 20 feet?
I think it was probably high 19s.
High 19s.
So you do like 3 steps and then jump.
Oh, you
So-
actually do.
I've seen
So-
it, but I don't. It's been a long time.
For track, you count, like for long jump, you step, but you only count the steps on your right foot. So we
really?
count 8 steps on the right foot. So technically it's like 16 steps.
Cool.
And that's a full sprint.
I don't know. I just couldn't do it. I had a question on what was it? Like a health thing the other day. It was like, can you walk a whole flight of stairs without trouble? I wrote, no. You can do that. Can you run the length of a football field? I go, this is just crazy. It's like, no. Don't even think
I've always said that there was probably reason why we were created with our youth being able to do anything that we wanted to because our bodies were able, but then the wisdom was in the later years, because if you put the anything we can do with our bodies and the wisdom.
Is there any adrenaline with this, with these events? Are you pumped up? I mean,
Yeah, that's the only thing that runs me through the whole time. Gives me the energy, like.
mom in the crowd hollering, go, 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 go.
He has a pretty good support system, not just mom, but we had our cousin from Florida. One of our cousins from Florida came, and she flew there and supported. And we had other family from Florida that came for states in New York, and we had. I don't know. He has his family is very supportive, which is awesome, to see.
Plus, the coach probably gets to go with you, doesn't he?
Yeah. So yeah, but it's like we were talking about beforehand, the mental game.
Oh,
that
yeah.
I've listened to. We look at a lot of decathletes and videos and stuff, and just kind of research. What everybody else is doing at like a professional level. And one of the decathletes had said, really, it's a 2-day event, but you're competing about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're 8 hours and 8 hours, so you're about 16 hours of competition, but really you're competing 15 minutes. So that tells you how much of a mental game that you have to stay,
Oh, really? 'Cause
on top of
get
your
really
game.
boring after a while.
Right, and drained.
That's what
and-
my question was. How many people are in each event? Like,
Well, how many was there? I want to say there was about 20 athletes that were competing in my 15, 16-year-old decathlon.
uh-huh.
But the events change, like the events that are on the track, so like the running events, they're split up into heats because
Okay.
there's only so many lanes on the track.
Yeah.
Not everyone can run at once, so they throw everyone's name into a computer and then randomize who gets where. And then you run, so there's like probably 5 or 6 people in your race, but that's just for the track events. The rest of it's all together. Oh, and pole vault. They did a low pit and a high pit, so the people who jump higher, that way the people who jump higher don't have to sit there for an hour while everyone who can barely clear the first height,
So what's mom do the whole time? Just sit in the crowd and cheer you on?
No,
Shopping?
So because the pent and the decathlon are a numbers game,
Uh-huh.
we have sheets that give out the points. So if you say you run a 100 at 11 11.5 seconds. That's going to give you, say, I would just throw out a number, 700 points. But if you run an 11.6, that's going to give you 710 points. So depending on
You said
your,
that wrong.
or flip, did I flip that? So, sorry. So, so the better you do, the more points you get. And so his family, myself, usually like my dad comes. He was another one that came and supported him in Sacramento. But we have a notebook and we're jotting down and we're kind of crunching numbers the whole, the first day, after the first day, okay, these are his numbers. What does he have to get for the next day? And, it's a big numbers game.
Okay.
So it's fun. It
bet.
gets us involved and
Yeah, 'cause
So-
it can get pretty long.
and Dad goes for the 1500. He always goes on the other side of the track, and because for the 1500 they start on the opposite side of the track, and so he gets his times his lap times and lets him know what his pace is, so he knows the first lap he usually
108.
he wants to run it in around a 108
Uh-huh.
time. So if he runs it at a 103, he knows that he's a little faster paced, that he's going to have to, save it for the end.
Yeah.
Or if he's slower, he's going to have to pick it up. So Dad's always over there shouting out his
cool.
times, so he knows.
So what other interesting things did you do while you were out there? Besides run, jump, chase women?
We went and visited San Francisco and went to like the pier for a day. And there's like so many different stores out there,
Oh, I
like
bet.
on the pier. There's a bunch of, we actually did this like 3D reality thing. It was called like the Flyer or something.
Uh-huh.
And you went around and you got up on this big platform with like seats, and then there was a huge screen like down below you, and it covered like your whole vision, and then you sit down and buckle up, and then the floor drops out from underneath you, so you feel like you're just hanging there.
Mom did not do that.
Oh, come
Mom
on.
stayed looking at all the shops.
Oh, jeez.
And then they give you these 3D glasses, and then they do like a first-person thing, and you're supposed to be like a bird. So you're flying around San Francisco, and this was actually so realistic because they would like go up onto a huge building, and then they just
Trap you.
show like the bird flying straight down super fast, all the way right to the ground, and then
Throw
right
up?
up. Yep. Well, no, but the chair would tip forward,
Oh,
and
jeez.
there'd be like fans blowing in your face. That was cool.
That sounds fun, but I'd probably throw up.
It was
Yeah, I
very
did do that.
surprisingly realistic. I was scared.
Really? Wow! Yeah, I would be too.
Like I lost my stomach going down.
Worse than an airplane.
Yeah, actually.
So what else did you do out there in San Francisco?
We went and seen the Golden Gate Bridge.
Ooh.
That was amazing.
Did you go over it?
Yes.
Did you? I've seen it from an airplane, but that's
It was amazing. And the wind, the way the North Pacific winds hit, it's probably a 30-degree drop in temperature when you're going over the bridge. It's breathtaking.
No.
And then the view.
All of San Francisco is freezing.
Yeah, it's a lot colder.
It's
there.
like winter. I'm not
Really?
even kidding. And then you drive, 2 hours to
If that.
Sacramento, and it's like blazing hot.
was Sacramento south
No, it's kind of
in.
almost just east. It's
Okay.
just a little bit higher, and you just kind of drive
I've never
about
been
an
to
hour and a half
Sacramento.
away.
Just inland. That's
yeah.
I know when I was in San Francisco, we get on the plane. We're getting ready to go to Hawaii. We taxi out. We taxi back. We're watching a football game. They were working on a runway, and we had too much luggage on it, or too much stuff on the bottom, so they had to take us back, unload a bunch of it. And they promised it wasn't our suitcases. Then we turned around, went back out, and we took off. So we were there for a game, and then part of the last overtime. It's like, but yeah, San Francisco would be a fun place to go check out. How about Sacramento? Did you get around there?
A little, not so much.
Not so much in Sacramento.
Yeah. It was when we were there, it was focused on the competition.
At least you got to see the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, it's actually really cool.
It's cool, ain't it?
And the Alcatraz, the island.
I didn't get to that.
That is probably my favorite.
Did you see it, or did you go there?
No, we just saw it. But I could only just imagine being like a prisoner trying to escape that. It was
it's like
cool looking.
Then they had the seals. That was I think my other favorite thing. We just stood on the pier, and I think I could have stood there all day long and watched these seals on.
They were like a bunch of little ducks, and they were jumping on them and pushing each other off.
It was quite entertaining.
Yeah, I guess. But, so at least the trip breaks up from the activities to just get some free time, which has got to be nice.
Yeah, I mean it was a high energy, stressful, working our way up to that, planning before. He would train for the month before. He trained about 2 to 3 practices a day. So he would either do his pole vaulting with Coach Steve from Jamestown, or he would then he'd go there. Then he'd do maybe his long distance with Coach King, and then he'd go over to the Peak and Peak and do sauna work. There's a lot
more to it than just getting up there and running. I can see. Jeez.
Yeah. Yep.
But so you're hoping to do it again this year?
For sure.
Good.
Definitely want to get back out there. Get the gold this time.
Oh yeah, that's right. We got pictures. I haven't seen the pictures yet. We're gonna put them up and let you talk about them.
Okay.
So go ahead, Chris. I think. Abracadabra.
Oh.
Sacramento.
This is a really cool picture, actually. That right there that I'm sitting on. It's a steeplechase barrier. There's water fit like on the front side of me, and they've run a 2 miles, but every lap they have to jump over that into the water.
Really?
Yeah.
See the reflection.
I thought you were
down
going to
there?
say a horse race. But
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, I guess, but
Because they're big barriers.
yeah.
Do they make it without falling in?
No, they actually.
They usually end up in the water.
Yeah, no one can do it really without touching the water. It's like I'd say it's like 3 feet deep at the start, and then it's like an incline all the way up to nothing. So yeah.
This is just for fun, or is that part of an event?
It's an event.
Really?
Yeah.
And he doesn't do that, but that was the opening ceremonies that happened Tuesday night. So he finished his competition. We ran back to the hotel to get him showered up, and then we went back and did the ceremony. So then after the opening ceremonies were done, we were able to go out on the track, and that was nice.
So they put on a big dinners for you? Breakfast, lunch, dinners?
No,
No?
not really.
No, they have Gatorade sponsors them. So they have a big Gatorade tent and cooling stations, things like that. But
No big dinners? Like a final dinner? Or? Oh, we got another picture. I don't wear the earpiece like Doc does, so. Whoa.
That's long jump.
Whee!
He's flying through the air.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom! Hey, over here! Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, so you, that's what I was talking about. You run like 18 steps or 16 steps as fast as you can, and then you jump off of a white board, and you have to be behind it, and then you jump as far as you possibly can into that sand pit.
So is the whiteboard bouncy?
Mm,
No, just a board.
You just have to be.
It's
make
just
sure
a
your-
marker, pretty much,
Yeah,
to
your
make.
toes are behind
If
it.
you step in front of it, it's a fault and it doesn't count.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, they mark when you jump in the sand, it leaves a mark wherever you landed. So then they mark from that.
I never jumped that high.
And they had to see the hose over there. They had to spray the sand down. The hose on the side,
Oh,
the green
okay.
hose. They had to spray the sand down a few times throughout because it's 103 degrees
Yeah.
and it gets pretty hot. So they have
Can't
to.
really tell where you hit if it's.
And the sand was like hot to the touch.
Oh, I bet.
Right,
Walking on the beach.
right.
So what's next, Chris? Whoa, there it is.
Well,
I love that picture because
don't
Autumn,
like
our
this picture.
cousin, it was either Autumn or our son Jacob. They were both taking pictures, but they got the flag in the background, so that was
Yeah.
really cool.
I don't really like this picture personally because it's a very low height,
And the technique.
and I'm not going over it correctly.
Yeah, he's looking at the technique. I'm looking at the artistry.
He's the one that's doing it. What do you got next? There he is, the coach.
There's me and my coach, David Reinhardt.
Was he
he's-
like the gym teacher?
No, he's my jersey. He's the head of Striders
Oh, okay.
track club. So he you go and you pay, and he coaches you and gives you a jersey and takes you to all these meets and stuff
Nice.
for the summer.
And he has a lot of different connections with other coaches also. He actually knows the coach from Purdue University in Indiana.
Really?
That's the Maltese coach. He's actually from Buffalo area
Uh-huh.
and then now lives in Indiana. But he's connected with him and was working with him about, his training and what he was to do beforehand. And so that was really awesome.
Do we have some more? Oh, yeah.
That's high jump. Yeah, so
Are you just jumping there? You're not, you just
Mhm.
hold up?
so I'd probably say that might be like 6 feet, 6'1" probably.
Something probably.
Nothing to spring off of either, huh?
Nope, just
Jeez.
plain old ground. You run up and kind of angle at it, and then jump as high as you can. It carries you over, arch your back real.
I could never do
Good.
that.
Those are the hurdles.
Oh, yeah,
Those
the
are
hurdles.
Your pictures.
I still think when you get in front of them and they're coming at
Mhm.
you, it's
Yeah.
just cool.
Yep. Yeah, they have good photo. It's photogenic. That type of
Have you ever
event.
tripped on one of them? Caught your
I
foot?
have yet to fall, but I have definitely hit them before. And it hurts when you're going full
Oh, I
speed.
bet. That seems like it would trip you up and you go down and get killed.
Yeah, it can.
You got any more?
We had one time. Can't remember what meet it was. Maybe it was the pentathlon, the counties, and his friend Carson Christ. He's from Maple Grove. He just graduated this year, and they've done the pent together for the past couple years and became pretty close. And he's actually going to, is it Mercyhurst?
Mm-hmm.
Mercyhurst to play football, and he's their kicker. And I think he was practicing for kicking because his toe hit the hurdle, and it shot that thing, and it went rolling and into his lane, and he had to jump over
geez.
too. That was a good picture.
So the next picture up was,
That's his papa.
that's his papa.
Yeah.
He's the doctor. He's the one that actually just got my stitches out yesterday, but I cut
What'd you do?
myself.
How'd you do that?
Playing with
Butter and bread.
It was, yeah. I don't want to talk about it because I was screwing around with the knife.
Oh,
almost.
no.
That was bad. Yeah, he learned his lesson.
Yeah. Is there any more? Oh, here we go. Yeah, I got that picture. So is that all of the pictures? Got a feeling it
I
is.
think it might have been.
Okay, now the the big Olympics.
Yes.
Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna try?
I am going to try for the 2024 Olympics in Paris.
Oh, jeez. Now, how hard is it to get in?
You got to be the best of the best to get into that. We'll see how I grow through the next few years. I think I should be 21 when those
21?
happen, so prime age. So yeah.
So he's at about a 6,000 right now in points, and they are around 8,000 to 8,200 in points. So that kind of gives you an idea of where he's got to go. You know, he's got about 2,000 points that he's got to be able to
He's got 2 more years of
find
school,
somewhere.
right?
Yeah, he's got 2 more years of school.
Heck, no
So,
problem. Just don't go getting hurt playing football and don't cut your hand. And now, do you play any other sports besides football?
I play football, basketball, and track.
Jeez.
And I've played baseball and wrestling, all that,
Wrestling.
cross country. Yeah.
I don't know. You ever bicycle ride?
I actually do.
Do ya?
I go out for
That's-
some 8-mile loops and
That's about it for me. It's not a race. It's just trying to get to the finish line.
yeah,
It's like
it's a good thing.
Oh yeah, it's interesting. To me, it's exercise. I don't know how much it really is. You're sitting and
It's good.
it's got to do something to you because
John is always, from day one, it's all about the sports. When he was 2 years old, I remember his older brother, that's a few years older than him. He was, 10 and he was 2, and hooked up a ratchet strap, tow strap to his bicycle to a little petty car, like a little race car, Hot Wheels, whatever, Power Wheels car. And they took the gears out of it so it was free spinning, and put a helmet on him, and like a race helmet, and put him in the seat. And our neighbor has like a half circle driveway, and he had him going around it, and he was going so fast that it was sliding. And John at 2 years old, he's counter steering, like nobody taught him how to counter steer. He's just always like known his body, like
It's a
the
lot
limits
better.
and what he is to do.
it's a lot better than the kids that are all just doing
Yeah.
this all day long. And
Yeah, or we'll be sitting and watching a movie,
Yeah.
and whatever sport he's in, he either has a basketball hoop in the living room, or it was a football in his hand, and he was throwing it at at a target. Whatever sport he's in, we're sitting there watching a movie, and he's still practicing. So that has been his life.
So, John, you get about 30 seconds. What would you recommend for somebody in your grade, your schools, to do it or not do it?
Yeah, I think it's good for anyone. I think the physical activity and all that, it's just good for you, good for your body, it gives you something to feel good about. I did that. I completed.
Oh, really?
Just to say that you completed a decathlon, that's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
Because
Just one event.
Yeah, it's such a process, so I definitely recommend someone trying it.
Well, I want to thank you. Michelle, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Bringing them up.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, you got the story in. You've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. Doc Hamels will be back next week. I'm Randy Burt. Want to thank Justin and Emerald. That's got a job and going back to school and everything. They're going to get out and run now. Chris in the control room. See you next week.